You can shift into a different box or a different dimension by changing the way you think and by changing what you're seeing in the world. If you visualize right before you fall asleep, your subconscious mind is very open and very programmable because right before you fall asleep, your brain waves slow down into an alpha state, which is when the door to the subconscious mind opens.
Welcome to the I Decide Darlings podcast. I'm Erin.
And I'm Lisa. We are moms, wives, best friends, entrepreneurs, and authors of the book, I Decide, the happy little guide to living your best life. Pull up a chair, grab a glass of wine, and get ready to talk all things health, success, loss, money, family, and everything in between. These two besties won't leave anything off the table.
So get ready to laugh, cry, hear the tips, tools, and stories to give you the success you crave, the life you adore, and the future you deserve. You are listening to the I Decide podcast. Welcome back, everybody, to the I Decide Darlings podcast. As always, I am Erin Lopez.
And I'm Lisa Cox. Welcome.
Welcome.
It's October, Erin. Oh,
how did that happen? Oh, look, and we're wearing black and white. I should have on something orange.
Okay. It's October, so can I just say it's baby month for Grandma Lisa. Grandma Lisa's going to get a baby this month, and I just have to have that in our podcast, and we're going to introduce you, Milana. We haven't forgotten about you, but it's baby month.
It's a big month. It's a big month.
I'm living for my grandma era. Okay. It's been said. There you go.
You heard it here first on the I Decide Darlings podcast.
I just have to say, you don't look old enough to be a grandma at all. You're like the hottest grandma ever.
Hot Dolly. Her name's going to be Dolly.
Dolly. Grandma Dolly. Well, I'm so excited. Okay. And it's spooky month. So we're excited about that too. We like spooky. But today there's nothing spooky about our guest. So I get the honor of, reading a bio, and I'm going to try and not make mistakes, you guys, because when you listen to the I Decide Darlings podcast, Lisa makes mistakes. So Milana is a manifestation coach who specializes in helping women manifest money and freedom with ease by utilizing subconscious rewiring techniques. Milana teaches that your life is a direct reflection of your subconscious beliefs, which were programmed into you throughout childhood. By using subconscious rewiring, you have the power to change your life to attract a life beyond your wildest dreams, which is exactly what we want to do.
I am here for that.
Milana, welcome to the I Decide Darlings podcast. We are so glad you're here, and we have already been having fun with Milana before we even hit record. So we know it's going to be a good day today. So welcome, Milana. Tell our audience about yourself. Just give us some nuggets of who you are as a woman and where you came from, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me on the pod. I'm super excited to be chatting with you ladies and diving deep into all things manifesting the life of your dreams today.
Yeah.
So a little bit about me. I live in Southern California in a cute little beach town. I got into manifestation a few years ago. I'm sure we'll get into the story. I don't know if you want me to tell you
Tell us.
Origin story now.
I need to know which little cute beach town, if you don't mind saying.
Yeah, I live in San Clemente, California.
Oh, okay. I'm from Laguna Beach.
Oh, I love it.
Up the road. Not now, but that's where I grew up. So
yeah, I love Laguna.
Sisters. Yeah.
So beautiful. So my story is that in 2020, I got laid off from my job. I was working in finance at the time. And then over the course of a year, I was trying to run two businesses. I was like, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I was working over 70 hours a week, grinding the gears, working so hard. The businesses ultimately failed. I ran through all of my savings. I also got into a toxic relationship at the time, and it all kind of came to a crux or a turning point the night I got cheated on, and that was my rock bottom. I was completely broke, and now my heart was broken too. So that was when I decided like something has to change. And I don't know what it is because I've done everything I think I'm supposed to do with like working super hard. Like I did everything I thought I was supposed to do and it just was not working. So luckily, shortly after that, I discovered manifestation. And I started meditating every day. I got into subconscious rewiring practices. And within just 2 months, my whole life changed. I got back on my feet financially. I got a new job making more money than I had ever been making before. I got a new relationship, new friends. I moved. And since then, I've just been obsessed with the subconscious mind and how we can literally change our life by changing our mind and by changing what's in our subconscious mind. So I've just been like devoting my life to it over the last few years. And now I actually coach people, mostly women, and mostly on manifesting money and financial freedom, and finding like your passion and your purpose. So that's my story. I don't know where you want to take it from there.
Your story is awesome. And like, we have so many things we want to like dig into, like the rewiring, the subconscious, everything. What I think is so crazy, and I think hearing you talk about it today was, aren't we all taught to like, you grow up, you go to school, you get the job, like you do all the things, you know? And I think hearing your story that like, that's what you were doing. You were doing what we were supposed to do. And Lisa and I being entrepreneurs, like, you know, we talk about this all the time that, you know, is the 70 hours, is the grind. I mean, we grind, don't get me wrong. Like we love to grind it out, but because we want to, you know, not because we have to. So like, did you just get to the point when you got laid off? Is that what you said?
Yes, I had gotten laid off like from
Blessing
a
in disguise.
regular job. Yes. All a blessing.
All a blessing in disguise. But like, how does somebody turn? Like, I mean, and you were young. Were you living, did I read you were living in New York?
No, I was living in Utah at the time.
Oh, really? In the financial world?
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, I mean, how do you go from like broke to all of a sudden you're like, what do I do? I want to hear all about like the rewiring because I know that I need to be rewired.
Yeah.
Don't.
I know,
No.
but I love that because I think a lot of people do, you know, I mean, I think a lot of people listening probably are doing that. They're going through the motions, they're going through life, and, you know, life is precious. Like there's so much to be done in life, but like, take us on the journey with you of like what restructuring your rewiring and your subconscious, what does that look like?
Yeah, so there's, I would say, three main modalities that I like to use. The first one is meditation. And so the way I would use that is I would go into a meditation and I would get really clear on what thoughts I no longer wanted to think and what beliefs I no longer wanted to have. So like, I think my main belief at the time was I'm broke and I'm not making any money. And so when I would go into meditation, I would tell myself, I'm not going to think that anymore. Like that's done. I'm killing off that part of myself. And then I had to replace it with what I wanted to believe instead. So instead, it would be a belief of like, I'm making more money than I know what to do with, and I have freedom and control over my time. And I would just repeat that over and over in my brain. And ultimately, it created my reality. So the two other modalities I like to use are visualization, which is kind of straightforward. Yeah, I'm sure you ladies do that yourself.
Yeah, we do.
We love it, but speak it into us. Tell us more.
Yeah, so the way I like to use visualization is to create key scenes of your future of like signifying that what you want is already done. So like I imagine for your guys' podcast, seeing like 20 million downloads this week or something, and like seeing, you know, you, Lisa and Aaron, like cheersing at dinner saying like, oh my gosh, we got 20 million downloads this week. So like that is signifying that it's done. And it's also pulling up that emotion, that feeling that we want to tap into anyways, that feeling of joy, of accomplishment, of gratitude. So that's how I like to use visualization. And then the last modality I really like is called EFT tapping. I'm curious if you guys have ever done EFT.
Yes, we have.
Okay, cool. So you know how it goes.
Yeah, that's a little woo-woo, Milana. That's a little woo-woo for me. Now, I believe in the meditation and the visualization, but you're
Oh.
going to have to convince me on this tapping thing because I've done it and I think I don't know. Just being
Well,
honest.
I love your perspective. I just have to say, it's October. It's the month for witches. So this is the perfect time for you to lean into your inner witch.
Oh, goodness gracious. Well, it's baby month, Milana. You heard that. We can't go down that route.
You're right. You're right. Babies and witches. We can have
Babies
it
and
all.
witches. Can't happen. Can't happen. Okay.
Yeah, but there's actually so much science about EFT tapping now. So essentially, EFT is like acupuncture, but instead of using needles, we're using acupressure. So we're tapping on different meridian points on our body. And essentially, like if you pull up traumatic experiences that you've been through and like limiting beliefs that you've downloaded from those, and then you use EFT, you're soothing your subconscious mind, you're tapping into your subconscious, and you're saying, even though my parents abandoned me as a child, I still love and accept myself. And then you keep tapping on the points and you can
You're
say like,
tapping here and here.
I can let this go. Yeah, if you're not watching video, you got to switch on the video. You're tapping on yourself.
Yeah, go to
And
YouTube, everyone.
yeah.
I think the older that I've gotten, Milana, you are young and precious. The older I've gotten, the times that I tried that, I'm like, ooh, did I get Botox? Do I have snit? I'm like, did I forget something? So yes, I believe you. I think I've lost my ability to think.
Well, you have a stunning forehead, so it's paying off.
Well, and you know what? When I say I don't know how I feel about it, it's a little woo-woo. I also have this part of me and my soul that believes if it works for someone, then I believe it and I love it for them because I want for people to be able to break their old habits and to change their thought patterns and to have the proper visualization of positive things and the words in their head. So even though I made that negative comment about how I'm not sure,
It was funny.
I do believe in doing what works for you. And I think that's super, super important. And I have to tell you guys really quick, I have to take the moment to tell you about my visualization that happened. And it was 5 years ago. And I was thinking about where I wanted to be in 5 years. And I was with my whole family in my mind. And I was at a beach, which we're not at a beach, we're in Missouri. But I looked up and it was a beautiful day. It was gorgeous out and sun was shining. And I saw my daughter, Megan, who has really long blonde hair. She's got long, she's a beautiful woman. And I saw her turn the corner and she was holding the hand of a little child. And that was 5 years ago. And that's where I wanted to put myself, was like, I wanted a grandchild. I was trying to visualize it. And now it's happening.
I have full body chills. That is so beautiful.
I know. It makes me want to cry. I'm trying to not cry, to be honest, because that is really what I've thought about and visualized and known that it would. And at that time, to be honest, they weren't sure if kids were in the plan, which is okay. And it wasn't a plan. And so, now I flash forward 5 years and it really worked for me. It really, really worked for me. So I had to share that.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. You literally manifested life into the world. Like, that's the greatest manifestation ever.
Well, I don't know if it was all me, but I certainly thought about it. And Erin have talked about it probably every single day since she's known me, that how bad Steve and I both wanted grandkids. But so tell me about this. I have followed and done some of the trainings with Dr. Joe Dispenza. And I know that you have done some work with him as well. And will you share with our audience what it means to change boxes?
Oh, I love this question. Yes, I'm a huge Joe Dispenza fan. Yes, so to change boxes, essentially Dr. Joe teaches that there's infinite parallel realities and infinite dimensions happening all at the same time. So that means that there's infinite versions of you. There's a version of you that is a top podcast host. There's a version of you that could have like 12 kids. There's a version of you that
Ooh.
is like,
No,
Yeah, I don't think so. That I didn't get that one.
you chose not to be in that dimension.
Yes.
So yeah, essentially there's just infinite dimensions and they're seamlessly woven together. And a lot of them they're like nearly identical to the dimension that you live in, but small things are different. And you can shift into a different box or a different dimension by changing the way you think and by changing what you're seeing in the world. So, an example is if you want to make more money, you want to shift into a dimension where you're making more money. So, you can be focusing on like the amount of money that you want to be making and like visualizing those deposits coming into your account, maybe visualizing the type of work you want to be doing. And as you do that, you're investing your energy into an alternate dimension. And when you come out of that visualization, or even of just like having that positive thought, everything will look the same, but you have seamlessly shifted maybe into a micro other dimension. But as you continue doing that, you shift into a new world. So it's pretty magical. I know it sounds very woo woo.
No, that to me is not woo woo.
Okay.
What something you said that I think people need to understand is, because again, we love visualization, but it has to be specific. Agreed? Like I
Oh,
think a
yeah.
lot of us, and again, it took me a long time to figure this out, that, when we say to people, people we work with, people on our teams, hearing you say it today, I think the majority of people think, okay, I'm going to visualize, right? Like I'm going to visualize my future. I'm going to visualize what it looks like. But we forget the specifics. Like you said visualize the deposits going into your bank account. Like even when you said that, I'm like, that's pretty cool. Like that's specific. So I think, I love what you do because you're giving people like the next step, which is like visualization, but like with specifics and everything, because I think that's really cool. I mean, like when you said that, I'm like, I need to be reminded of that too, of like, we talk about all the time, like visualize the success of your business. Like, what does it smell like? What does it feel like? Who are you around? And I love that people like you that's what you're doing for a living. Can you believe it? I mean, you went from like the 70+ hour a week job to now you get to tell people to visualize their success.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up because getting specific is the key to visualizing, and it's the key to having your visualizations come to fruition. Because actually, like for a while, I was manifesting just like, oh, more money. I want to make more money.
Yeah.
And I would do that. Like I would slowly make incrementally more money. But when I decided I want to manifest this specific amount coming into my bank account, and I visualized that getting deposited every night. I would just close my eyes and visualize like that getting deposited. Within 2 months, I 7x'd my income, and it was the exact amount that I was visualizing. So I tuned into that box, that dimension, by having that specific visualization. And like even you, Lisa, with visualizing your grandbaby, you tuned into that dimension, that emotion. Like the stronger the emotion is, the deeper you can root into that other box. And like when you're visualizing having a grandbaby, I can only imagine how strong that emotion is.
It's
Like
strong.
you are bringing that. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's very strong. My husband and I can't not cry when we talk about, happy tears when we talk about the experiences that we're getting ready to, not only what our children are getting ready to experience being first-time parents, but for us at this age, what it's going to be like and stuff. It's just hard to think of. So how much time in a day do you suggest people do this in order to have the success that you're coaching people to have?
Yeah, honestly, like 15 minutes or less. It does not need to be long. I used to do like 1 to 2 hours a day of meditation, and I wasn't necessarily visualizing, but when I switched to visualizing these key outcomes, I would only do that for about 10 to 15 minutes a day, and that's when I started having really rapid success. So, and you can do it in even less than that. I think the key is like put on a nice relaxing song that helps you get into your heart, like something on Spotify, something easy, and then just like get clear on what would it look like to have my dreams. Maybe it's waking up in your dream home next to your soulmate and
Mhm.
like feeling some luxury covers, and your soulmate brings you like coffee in bed or something. Like you just want to create a few key scenes and then spend like 1 to 5 minutes, maybe up to 15 if you like really love it, but like that's the thing, is it does not need to be a long time.
Mm. I I do hot yoga almost every single morning. It's
Mm.
kind of my morning appointment that I don't break. And I get there 15 minutes early. And I was really curious what you would say on the time, because I didn't know if I needed to. I don't go and meditate for an hour a day, is what I'm saying. I wish I had that time or made that time for myself. But I do get there 15 minutes early every single time, and I lay on my mat and I can really get into deep meditation. The room is always quiet. No one's supposed to really talk in the room, before class. And I get myself in so deep sometimes that I barely hear when the teacher finally comes in, because I'm just so deep into my, either some days it's non-thoughts, some days
Mhm.
it's just all the things that I'm kind of trying to manifest for myself. But I'm happy to know that we can do that in 15 minutes.
Oh,
15 minutes is
100%.
doable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
I
is.
mean,
Yeah.
I was waiting to see what you said, because I was like, oh gosh, am I. But 15 minutes anybody can do. I mean, in the car ride to go pick up the kids, like sitting, getting ready in the morning. I mean, but like you said, like I think it's also a learned exercise too, to be able to shut off your mind, you know. But
Yeah.
So
speaking of yoga, because I know that is like a must in Lisa's life. But I love the other things that you say too. Like you say cryo is something. Like what
Mm.
other activities do you say are kind of a good subconscious rewiring / just good all around? Because I know you're a cryo fan.
Yes, I love cryo. Honestly, anything that will like shake you up and get you into the present moment. For me, I love cryotherapy. I go to Pilates almost every day. That's my version of hot yoga.
that's awesome.
Um, yeah, I love going down to the beach and doing like a sunset beach walk with my dog. Like,
Mhm.
you can't not be present if you're doing that. I
Mhm.
also have gotten back into horseback riding this year, and
Ooh.
that is like the love of my life. So
That's
anything
awesome.
that just like, yeah, switches off your day-to-day thinking and just gets you rooted in the present moment, that will raise your vibration so much and like help you attract your dreams too. So simply by doing things that you love and that make you happy, like you're attracting a life that you love even more.
Mm.
Speaking of dreams, I read on your website that that you say your dreams are placed in your heart for a reason.
Mhm.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, I really believe that each of us is a divine creation of source, of the universe, of God, like whatever you want to call it, and that the universe has specific things that it needs carried out for the progression of the world, for humanity. And like one of those is your I Decide podcast. So
Mhm.
like you guys had that desire in your heart of like, I want to create this. But I would even say, like, it wasn't necessarily you that wanted that. It was God, the universe, a higher
Mhm.
power that said, I need this created. I'm going to place this in Lisa and Aaron's hearts and hope that they take action on it. And I
Mm.
also think that if you don't take action on it for long enough, it's going to stay in your heart. Like, you're always going to want to be doing it. But also, eventually, the universe is going to send that desire to someone else. Because it's like,
Mhm.
if you're not going to take action, like, I literally need this created, so I'm going to give it to someone else. So I think that that's just like a really empowering way to think about your dreams too, so that you're not like, oh, this is like me selfishly wanting this thing. It's like, no, the universe needs this created.
Mhm. I love that, but my dreams are bad. Like Milana. What does that mean? Like I'm still dreaming that I've forgotten where my classroom is and I can't find my class and I don't have the pencils and
Oh, I got
there's
it.
a test that day. And that's what I dream about. I always wake up and I'm like so mad. I'm like, Steve, I have all these stressful dreams, but I don't feel like I have a stressful life. Like I have a happy life. I truly do. And but then I have these dreams and I'm like, I'm under all this stress. So what does that say about me?
Okay, I totally thought you meant
So did
your
I.
dreams as in your desires.
Totally.
Oh, no,
I
no,
was
no.
like, that doesn't sound right. I was like, Lisa, what are you talking about?
I mean, like my actual
Actual
dreams.
dreams. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I do dream
actual
that I
dreams.
still miss school, like, and I forgot to go to class and things like that. I mean, it's bizarre.
So you're
Yeah.
not saying that at night when we're dreaming, that's been placed. You're talking about just our dreams and desires.
Yes.
Okay. See that? Okay, I'm the only blonde on here, so I know Nate is back in the background, our editor, and he's laughing right now. He's laughing his ass off. Okay, so what about sleeping and receiving money?
Wait, I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? I was laughing.
Yes. So you also talk about sleep and receive money.
Oh, yes.
So talk about that for a sec.
Yes. So you can 10
You
10x
can dream about it too, Lisa.
Yeah, you can.
Well, now,
Milana, we warned you about this podcast.
now we're sleeping. We're sleeping
You
now,
did.
right?
I love it.
Okay.
Milana, go.
Got it.
Oh yeah, sleeping and receiving money. I'm like, where were we?
I'm
So
sorry.
if you visualize right before you fall asleep, your subconscious mind is very open and very programmable because right before you fall asleep, your brain waves slow down into an alpha state, which is when the door to the subconscious mind opens. So if you are doing your visualization right before you fall asleep, and or you're thinking about positive money affirmations, maybe you're thinking, I am deserving of money. I can make more money. You're thinking things like that.
Mhm.
That's getting programmed into your subconscious. So then while you're sleeping, a full 8 hours or however long you sleep, your subconscious is going to be chewing on that and downloading it and thinking about it and
Mhm.
filing it away. So then when you wake up the next day, your subconscious mind is programmed into that reality a little bit more. So I like to do my visualizations right before I fall asleep because it's like I'm lazy and it will be a lot more powerful that way.
Oh, I love that. I usually do my red light mask right before I go to sleep.
Yeah.
So, and that to me is very soothing. So I could put my red light mask on and then do my visualization.
I'm going to try it.
100%.
And I think that like we should try, Lisa, let's try this for like the next month. We need to
Okay.
try this because I know I'm probably like a lot of people that when I lay in bed and I'm trying to fall asleep, I'm like going over what happened and what did I do and what could have done and what I have to do tomorrow. And like my mind is just going round and round that like this could be something that like I think it creates a good habit that I think we should try. I think we should
Okay.
try this, Lisa. And then
Let's
like
do
we're going to report back to you, Milana, and tell you how wildly more successful we are and
I
all
love
the good
it.
stuff. All the
You
good
guys are
stuff.
going to love it.
Because okay, and we talked about this statistic that you mentioned too, that 95% of our lives is a result of your subconscious, which in fact too is also like our visualization, correct? Like that's a big number.
Yeah.
Yes. It actually can be upwards of 99%.
Wow.
So 95%
Whoa.
is like a conservative estimate.
Wow.
Say that again
Yeah.
so everyone hears you. I want you to say it because you're going to say it
Okay.
better than me.
Oh, I don't necessarily think so, but I'm happy to say it. So over 95% of your thoughts, your feelings, and your beliefs and what you attract is stemmed from your subconscious mind and from your subconscious beliefs. And the crazy thing about this is that your subconscious is getting formed in childhood, especially ages 0 to 7. You are
Wow.
purely in your subconscious mind. You don't have an analytical mind. So you're essentially like a recorder, like a video recorder, ages 0 to 7, downloading everything that happens to you, everything around you. Maybe your parents are really stressed out about money. They're fighting, they're arguing, they're saying, you can't do that, you can't do this. All of that gets downloaded into the subconscious. So then when you grow up, all of that is stored in your subconscious and it's being attracted to you. It's your thoughts, it's your feelings, it's everything that's happening in your reality. So, and that's why I love subconscious reprogramming so much, because it's like going in and changing the hard drive on the computer, changing the program so that you don't necessarily have to think so much about like how am I going to make more money? How am I going to be more successful? When you rewire your brain, that 95% that's on autopilot to think, money is really easy for me and things just happen easily for me, you're actually going to be attracting that into your life with ease. So it's like you're
Mm.
releasing that struggle, you're releasing the hard work, and it's kind of like a cheat code to life is
Mm.
rewiring that 95 to 99% of who you are.
I'm so curious when you start, oh, sorry, Lisa.
No, go ahead.
When you start working with somebody, and obviously this is part of your process, where do you start? Like if we were to come to you, if somebody were to come to you and start, you're coaching them, where do you start this process?
That's a great question. It depends on the person, and what their goals are. So I always want to start off with like, what is your life like now? And what
Mhm.
are you wanting to attract into your life? Like, what's the dream outcome? And then from there, I will probe the client or whoever it is to find their limiting beliefs that are blocking them. So if,
Mhm.
for example, someone comes to me and they say, I want to 10x my income. I want to make way more money, but yeah, that's what I want. Then I'll say, okay, like what part of you feels like that's not possible? And I have like a whole series of questions that I'll go through to find the roots of why they think it's not possible, of
Mhm.
why they think it's for other people and not them, like all those things. And then we do subconscious rewiring together to change all those beliefs and those programs so that then they remove the resistance to their end goal and they can attract it with more ease.
Mm.
I just love the positiveness of everything that you do and that you teach and coach, because it's
Oh,
so sad to me. And having been, a coach kind of and a mentor for a lot of women in my life and in my career, so often they just tell themselves they're like a priority in their day is I'm not good enough. I'm not talented enough. I'm not tall enough. I'm not short enough. I'm not skinny enough. It's just like these
mhm.
negative like reels that play in their brain all day long that hold them back. And
Yeah.
I see it, and I'm always like, let's change your language around that. But this is so beautiful and so good. I love what you're doing. I think it's just so important. And one of the questions I have for you is this, because I was very lucky to go for one of my sister's birthdays to this beautiful spa and resort down in San Diego where they have a Deepak Chopra center and meditation center. And
Wow.
Love him.
and we did multiple of these different opportunity type classes to learn, and it was incredible. And it was very new for me because my big sister, she was very into meditation at the time, but I really wasn't. And so one of the best tips, and I want to hear yours, but I want to share this because I think it's so cute. One of the best tips I've ever been taught with meditating, and I still use it today, is to think of your brain like a puppy. And
Aw.
when you have a new puppy, and I have my dog right over here, I love dogs.
Mhm.
When you have a puppy and the puppy, you say sit to the puppy, just like you tell your brain, be still, be quiet. Let's not think about our to-do lists and stuff. So when you're doing that, think of it as a puppy. And if it runs off after you tell a puppy to sit, you don't get mad at it. It's a puppy. The puppy hasn't learned yet to stay and sit. And so it's the same with a brain learning to meditate. It's going to run off. It's going to go to your to-do list. It's going to go other places. It's going to think about your kids or what you have to make for dinner. But all you have to do is bring it back. And so the lady who taught the class kept saying, bring it back, in a really like
Mm.
beautiful, calm voice. And she'd say, I know how you guys are right now. Bring it back. Bring back your puppy. And she walked us through, and we did hour-long meditations. It was so incredible. And every once in a while during it, she'd say, bring it back. Bring
Mm.
back your puppy. And it just taught me to do that every time, to not be mad at myself for not
Mhm.
being good enough at meditating when I was new. It taught me just to just bring it on back and calm it again, and then to move forward. So that's my tip. But tell me your meditation tips, because I think getting people to a state where they can actually start speaking this goodness into their minds and their bodies is hard. It's hard for them to. So if you have someone that's brand new and you want to sit them down and teach them to have quiet time and meditate, where would you start?
Okay, I absolutely loved what you shared about the puppy. That's so cute. I've never heard that before. Give me a little puppy. Like, who
Yeah,
doesn't love puppies?
exactly.
Yes. So there is something I want to say about that, and it's that there's no such thing as a bad meditation.
Mm.
Everyone wonders, am I doing this right? I'm a horrible meditator. Literally everyone thinks that. So the whole point of meditation is to bring the puppy back. It's not to instantly be like um, one of the masters of the Far East or Buddha who's just like perfectly zen. Like, no, that's not the point. The point is to continuously bring your presence back to the present moment. You are training your brain to come back to the present moment rather than just continue in all those spiraling thoughts. So,
Mhm.
and that ends up helping your brain in your waking day to like not spiral so far out of control, but to come back and be like, okay, I'm here now. Like I can focus on the task at hand and not get so caught up in all the different thoughts. So,
Mhm.
and there is one other thing that I think is really helpful for staying focused. This could be used in meditation, but also just like in your waking day. Because I know before, Lisa, you said that you see so many women have these thoughts of like, I'm not good enough, I'm not skinny enough, I'm not smart enough, or whatever, like all those things. Something that will absolutely change your life is whenever you notice those thoughts coming up, is to just tap on your collarbone nice and softly and just say release, release, release. Just keep tapping until you feel a physical shift. And then you'll notice like your shoulders will drop. You'll take a deeper exhale and
Mhm.
you're actually rewiring your brain in the moment to be releasing those beliefs. That way you don't have to like notice it and think, oh, I'm going to take that into a meditation later, or I'm going to
Mhm.
take this into a session later. It's like, no, you can actually rewire it on the spot within a matter of seconds. So I know
And
that's
I
kind of like a tangent from what you asked,
No,
but
I love
no,
it. I love it. No, I
I
love
have a
it.
silly question. So the tapping again, is that the purpose in that in my mind? Is it because there's physicality to it? Is that what's the purpose in the tapping?
so the purpose is to open up your subconscious mind and program it. So when you're tapping on the meridian points,
Mm-hmm.
you're soothing down your nervous system, you're calming down your body. So you're taking yourself out of fight or flight and you're suppressing like all those running thoughts in your mind. So you're dropping down into your subconscious mind.
Mm.
And then when you say things like, I release and let this go, you're actually speaking to your inner child, to your subconscious mind, that 95% of you
Mm-hmm.
that feels like it has to be so protected and like have this hard outer shell. But when you tap into it with the tapping, it lets its guard down and it's very programmable. And it says, okay, I will release that belief that I'm not good enough. I believe you.
Mm. I love that.
So,
So good. So
yeah.
good.
Oh.
So tell us how our audience can find you. Like give us your Instagram. We're going to put all this in the show notes, gang, but I'd love to have you tell like the main place you'd like for everyone to follow you.
Yeah, I'd say the best place to follow me is on Instagram, and my handle is Milana McKhann. It's kind of funky spelling, but yeah, Milana McKhann. And then I'm also on YouTube. I have a ton of free resources and like tutorials on YouTube. It's also just my name, Milana McKhann. And then I also have a free gift for your listeners.
We
Amazing.
love presents.
Yay. So I have a money meditation that has brought my clients over hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it's only 15 minutes.
Oh,
And I'm going to give it to all you guys for free. So I have the link. It's kind of a long link. I'll read it off to you, and I'm sure we can put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's my name. It's MILANN.co/freebie/. So make sure you meditation. You guys are going to love it. It's trippy. It's cool. It gets you into manifesting money.
I love it.
We'll
Thank
definitely
you
put
so
that in the
much.
show notes.
We all love free gifts. Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
of course.
Okay, I have one more question for you. And, like you were saying earlier, like God knew exactly what he was doing when you lost your job, you got cheated on, like to know that here you are now. And, he needed you to follow through with that. So my last question for you, again, you can kill me later for asking you this, but
Oh boy.
what are you visualizing right now? Like if you were to give us a brief synopsis of like what you're visualizing now for Milana, what does that look like? Because we want to hear it and know it. And then like we get to say we heard it first, or we got to, on the I Decide Darlings podcast. But I'd love to know what you are visualizing now for your future.
That's so sweet. I love this question. I kind of have a couple of main things I'm tuning into. So one is I feel like it's my purpose here on earth to raise Earth's consciousness. I've gotten that download in meditation so many times. And so my mission is to just impact as many people as I can by sharing these divine gifts and these modalities for changing your life, for raising your vibration, for living a life beyond your wildest dreams. So with that, I'm focusing on growing my Instagram and my YouTube reach. Maybe at some point I'll start a podcast.
Oh, you should.
You should.
Yeah. So really just like growing that to be as big as possible. Like I want to impact millions of lives. So there's that. And then I'm also manifesting my soulmate. So
Yay!
it works.
Nice. Well, you will get
Yeah.
all those things and more. I am confident in that. You are incredible. You're not only absolutely stunningly beautiful on the outside, but you are beautiful on the inside. And we have so enjoyed having you with the little darlings today. This has been wonderful. And I feel like I've learned so much. I took notes the whole time and everything.
Aw.
Thank
Well,
you,
thank
Milana.
you so much for having me. This was so much fun. I love both of you guys and your energy. This was such a blast. So thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it was so fun, Milana. We hope we stay in touch, and your Instagram is awesome. So you guys definitely have to go follow her Instagram. It will continue to grow, I promise you, because it's so awesome. So please share this out. This one was fun, y'all.
Yeah.
Like we got to laugh, and I learned a lot as well. And I can't wait to follow through with it and come back and tell you about our meditation. So thank you for being with us today, Milana. Thanks for joining in to the I Decide Darlings podcast, and we will see you all soon. Bye.
Yay!
You've been listening to the I Decide Darlings podcast. If this podcast touched your heart, please share it with your friends and family right after you subscribe yourself. Don't forget to head over to iDecideBook.com and grab a copy of our favorite book and daily journal. As always, thank you for being here, and we can't wait for you to hear our next episode.